Welcome to the Revitalization Trust Fund meeting for January 2024. We are holding the meeting remotely as allowed by the guidelines of the state. The public is welcome to be able to join at any time. This is as far as participation, we can't guarantee necessarily participation, but we're happy to do that whenever possible. But we will continue to be able to inform you and keep you in touch with the things that the Revitalization Trust Fund is doing throughout the town as you attend and or watch the recordings or read the notes. So thanks so much. So why don't we start off? I know we're looking for Jessica, and hoping that she is going to be able to join us shortly. The one of the first agenda items we have is accepting the December meeting notes, which were distributed. We have 3 out of 4 members, so we have a quorum. So if I would like to propose that we accept the meeting notes as written for the December 2023 meeting. And do I have a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Minutes are accepted. First update on the Charles River cleanup. Well, actually, the update is that Eric and I are going to get together now and at the beginning of February and get the planning part done.
Nice.
So let's start to rally people. And do you want to talk a little bit about that, Eric?
Yeah, actually, I was gonna speak to you about it at this point this week to see if it was time to start firing it up. I have to go back and look over. I think we made a outline. Just going back through my stuff. So we should definitely make a plan to start tackling it, start reaching out to the people within the town that we need to, start reaching out to volunteers who are going to take part in it, and come up with a game plan, find some dates, things like that.
Yeah, I think the main thing that we have to do is come up with a date, and then and then a rain date.
Yep.
Since we'll be doing it at a time when it's the odds of rain are relatively high.
Yeah.
So because the important thing is we have to be able to nail the date down so that the DPW and other groups that are involved to be able to help us coordinate this have a specific time. Mm-hmm. So they know that it's either this weekend or the next weekend, because it'll involve a police detail, which will be at our expense. But we will be able to, if once we get that nailed down, then we've got a chance to start really rallying people. And Eric, you had talked about being able to connect with some of the youth organizations that you're familiar with, that you could be able to see if the coaches would be interested in being able to turn this into something that's a work credit program, or that adds to their high school experience.
Yep. Were you thinking late March, early April? Is that how we thought?
Yeah. I mean, basically, it depends on how February goes for snow. But but I would say late March, early April. Obviously the mission is that we want to be able to do this cleanup while the ground is bare, as far as plants go, and no bugs.
Right.
So that we can, clean into the wood area there along the perimeter safely, and be able to also, just as importantly, be able to see where the trash and other things that have been flung or drifted into that area, are lying. So we want to get that done as best as we can.
Okay. So maybe you and I can set up a time sometime over the next week or two, and we'll come up with a action item list and tackle it.
Yeah, sure. In fact, I was going to say, if you want to, why don't you just email me with your schedule
Perfect.
or proposed days, and I'll I'll see what I can do because I want to do is I have a course that I'm teaching which starts in March, and so
Okay.
I want to be able to make sure I can get this planned in within my schedule as far in advance as possible so I can manage it. So,
Excellent.
all righty,
Yep.
on to the next thing. Let's see. Update on the Burt Wilkstrom bench. Um, that I was hoping by today, but will hopefully within the next day or so. I'll have an updated, just getting the updated cost, as we were talking about just earlier. For the bench, we have um, actually three bench projects that are all actively in process, and uh, one of them is for Greens Field, and that's the Burt Wilkstrom bench. And we're just getting confirmation on the plaque. And they came back to us and did say that we sent them an image, a photograph of a clock that was in their actual store, and asked them if they could do some type of simple rendering that would make it immediately obvious that it's a clock. um, that would really work on the plaque itself and have the inscription next to that. They came back with a proof and said that it would be all raised. It would be raised relief, just like the letters are in the plaque. So I'm reaching out to the Wilkstroms to be able to confirm that send them the proof, make sure that aligns with them, and if that's a go, then what I'll do is take the process forward. The Park and Recreation has, if you recall, had given us permission to be able to do identical style benches to complete the rest of the ones that are in the front at Greens Field. And so once the Wilkstroms approve the design, then I will send them an updated message telling them that this is in progress. Their committee had already approved, being able to do it. So we'll basically want to keep them informed every step of the way so they know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it takes generally about 8 to 10 weeks for the bench to be produced and then delivered. So by timing it in February, we should get it should arrive sometime in early April. And that'll give us some time to be able to make sure that the uh, Park and Forestry is able to do there's a little bit of assembly that's involved in the bench. And so they will take care of those pieces as they have done in the past, and then we'll get it sited. And once it's on the spot, the spot has already been picked out. But once that's in place, then we will plan the ceremony to do the unveiling, and that would probably be, I would say, probably either late April or early May. So that's where that one's at. The additional one of the benches that we're in the process of working right now is the one that we talked about, which was the granite styled bench, and which it's a really exciting thing because it's just a uniquely cool looking bench, and that is for the Amity Path, which is around the reservoir. So we have a spot already approved for that location, and we just have to be able to take the final design to the select board for the final approval. So that we'll do that hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks, as soon as they give me the images that I've requested from them. And I got a message today saying that they will probably um, have those within the next 2 weeks. So that's great. And then the third bench is the one that has been approved by the school committee already, which is the one for the Mitchell School. And it's this, these are the same materials, so we're just waiting to get the price back to make sure that we know exactly what it is that the sponsorship needs to be. So that all works. And then we're also getting some, in that particular location, getting some input on what the cost would be to put either bluestone or something like that underneath the bench so that it's sitting on a stone foundation because it's actually in a berm area. So we want to get that taken care of, and that one would be dedicated when they run the Jog Your Memory race, which happens during the summer, I believe it is.
Mhm.
So that's the update on those. Let's see. Uh, Update on the post office trellis. That well, we have the trellis, and I have the paint to be able to get it to a beautiful semi-gloss white, but we haven't had the weather to be able to to do anything with it. So it's staying nice and warm. And if we get some Indian summer days or something like that, that we will see if we can assemble it and get it in. But otherwise, it'll probably go in, I would say, um, either late March or early April.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we will um, also do some cleanup on the Harry short hose bench that's out there. So to make it look prettier. It's still very solid, but the weather would leave some uh, you know um, uh, either moss or other types of things on it, and we'll clean it all up to make it great. And we'll also do work on the groundwork similar to what we do at the Mitchell School to be able to make sure that it has that the grass doesn't grow up underneath it and that it's solidly mounted. And that way, when they do maintenance for the front of the post office, mowing the grass and so on, that they don't that they can mow around it easily.
Bang it up and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So because the stonework will basically expand probably about another 8 or 10 inches uh, left and right of the bench, so that there's a space for them to be able to mow without getting in contact with the bench. So that is that. But the post office has all approved it. We're just having to wait for weather to to make it happen. Um, let's see. Uh, the archiving of the From Needham to the World. Just a couple of days ago, I met with Gloria Grice, and she has and she had agreed about a month or so ago to be the archive or the History Museum, the archive for the each one of the posters or each one of the profiles that we do on the wall mural. And so now the four that we've done so far are already there, and they're putting them, they're archiving them, and because we can store them, they can store them flat, and they're only about 1/8 of an inch thick. That they can store quite a few of them by stacking them right in front of each other. The only two that we had originally were the first two were vinyl, um, but we're going to all the future ones will be, much even easier to store in a small space. So even though they're 4 feet wide, but 8 feet wide by 4 feet tall, so that works out well. She also one of the things that's she's also working on with Jessica is a video that they're hopefully going to work with the Needham channel to tell the story of Denys. It's Denys, and he is the Pansy King, and he's the next upcoming profile. So he will basically she's going to tell basically a lot of his story, which we will have in a video to be able to use for the QR code, the scannable QR code at the mural. And Jessica has done a terrific job with writing the profile story. So and we're working with a PR company that our vendor Speed Pro had corporate for their company, hired to be able to help the individual speed pros do things that show the interconnection between the work that they do and how the community benefits from it. So so we had a meeting a week ago, which was with which Jessica attended, where she talked about the profile and we talked about how we would proceed from there. And she sent them a copy of the first draft of the profile so they'd have some content information to understand, what it was all about. They are anxiously awaiting for us to tell them the date that the next mural will be revealed. But we're waiting. Actually, Gloria is in contact with the two of the descendants of Denny's. To see to number one, inform them that we're doing this project and to honor their ancestor, but also to see if they have any photos or stories that have been passed down that would really enhance the whole experience of learning about them. And just from reading Jessica's piece, I mean, the fact that he was friends with Longfellow, that he supplied the White House every week with flowers. He had a garden center here, which was 35 acres. And, but then of course, he basically was the botanist who invented the giant pansy. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's all come together. And he was also the reason that he was the connection between one of his daughters and Andrew Wyeth, who got married, and that produced N.C. Wyeth, another famous artist and very notable in Needham. And the N.C. Wyeth House is actually a historic landmark in Needham now, and it is the museum for a lot of his work. So, and I know that Mike Knighton has been very involved in that project also. So, yeah, there are a lot of really, really cool things that are all connected with with pansies. And of course, if with the timing in March, and then it's in April, and basically the pansy festival essentially, and when the History Museum does the pansy sale, that it'll be a great thing to have this up on the wall while people are in the process of buying the pansies and starting their gardening in the spring. And a really hot to the press thing was very cool. I stopped into Needham Garden Center and spoke to them, and they were excited about being able to sponsor this mural. So, they basically just wrote a check, and we've, we're covered for this one, and we'll start to promote the other two spots for 2024, and our intention, obviously, and hope is that we will get them both sponsored in the next month or two, so that we have all the resources we need to be able to get the other two done as they come up in the exchange in the rotation. So that was it was a long explanation, but it was a lot of interesting stuff that's all been going on around that particular thing. And I was actually in the French press earlier today, and there was a woman there who remembered that we had talked about the From Needham to the World project. She goes, "Oh yeah, yeah. So you're the guys who do that mural on the wall." And she's got a little boy there, and she said, we talk about that. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's certainly what we hope is going to happen.
Yeah.
We covered that. As I think I mentioned in the last meeting, I believe so. We have been approved. Actually, no, because it came through in January. That we were approved for the NCAC grant, which is fantastic. And they contributed also towards the From Needham to the World project. Uh, so that's going to be, another help. So if we have any, if we have to spend some money to be able to get some digital retouching for the photos or things like that, that grant will be of, great resource to be able to help keep us, within the budget that we need. Um,
Nice.
yeah, so we've got that. Um, and let's see. Eric, do you want to talk a little bit about the Facebook promotions and
Yeah,
just
no real new updates. I've been posting to our Facebook page about once a week, and I since the last over the last month or two, I was able to join a handful of the um needed groups, sort of like the public groups, um, various different groups, but ultimately I'm just trying to get our name out and involved in some of these groups. So therefore, when I post things, it's hitting more eyes. Um, and we've actually I've been monitoring a little bit of what's been happening. We've gained a couple followers. We've had a couple more people viewing and liking our posts. Not huge numbers, but slow and steady. I think a couple people have shared our videos and the link with a couple others. So um, I, I I think it's working slowly, but at least we're getting our name out there. So yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I mean, we've we're trying to be able to pull together the the consistency of promoting the fund to just a wider audience.
Right.
And so we were able to get to join the Needham MA private group.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, great.
And I actually posted directly onto their page. I think it was last week. And I attached the link to the newsletter, thinking that maybe I could snag a couple people to click and maybe join the newsletter. So I kind of rotate each week back and forth. Sometimes I'll do a video, sometimes I'll do a link to the newsletter, sometimes I'll do both. But yeah, so if I sometimes I'll tag also Needham as well, hoping that maybe Amy will catch an eye of it and repost on her side. So yeah.
Yeah, and she's been great about being able to get the word out, especially when we're coming up on a unveiling.
Yep.
So, that's something that definitely keep her, give her advance notice as soon as we know the date of what that'll be. Um, and and any of the benches that we'll be dedicating as we go forward into the year, keeping her informed will allow her to be able to send it out through the town newsletter, and then obviously we can announce it in Needham MA and
Absolutely.
site, all that kind of stuff. So that's great. Well, thank you,
Mhm.
Eric. I mean, it's a huge help to be able to have you, take this on and again, if you need more videos, if you need whatever, I will shoot videos for you. So you can tell me if you need something that you think that a certain type of video would be really helpful. I
Sure.
will create it. And uh, if you need any more photographs or other types of things,
Hmm.
just let me know. I'm going to be working on because you gotten sidelined, but now I'm going to be actually getting the From Needham to the World images to Amy, uh, which we've been talking about for a while, and we had other things that just keep coming up that it was taking up my time. So, but now I'm going to get those basically sent over to her with a copy of the profile information so that she can put up the image and then all the detail that's in the profile story underneath each one and post it to our page. And when we do that, we're also going to make sure that we get the credit to for recognizing the History Museum um, and also the NCAC for their support, which is also in conjunction with the MCC, which is the Mass Cultural Council. So we'll get all the letters on there.
You gotta get all the letters.
Yeah, and make sure that everybody, gets thanked, because we tremendously appreciate all the help that they make with this, create with this program, and also, we literally couldn't do it without the wonderful support of the History Museum. So, because they are, especially when when we start, we try to do this mix between historical and current, and the historical information goes back 300 years. So if it were not for them, we wouldn't have a history
Right.
to draw upon. So another really incredibly valuable resource. Let's see. I think we've managed to cover. We got the Facebook promotions. We got the update on the newsletter. Actually, what I was going to do is I'll publish a new newsletter right around the end of the month, which is when I normally do it, and we'll start to tease the From Needham to the World, the next one coming up, and also mention about the current one, that people should stop by and see it.
Mhm.
And then we'll do a couple of other things that we can do through that channel to talk about the art gallery and some of the other basically the projects that are waiting for funding, so we can start getting more continuous promotion and an awareness of those things.
Yep. Maybe
So
we can, you and I just made a note when we circle back about the Charles River cleanup. Maybe we can make some sort of like flyer or something that we could also post online or share with people, just to sort of raise some awareness for that also.
yeah,
But
that's good. Yeah, sure, we can create that and see the just making people aware of anytime we're doing a project.
yeah,
Just basically say, hey, and this is once we've nailed down the date that the project's going to happen, then we can, let people know. And hey, if you'd like to be able to volunteer to help do this cleanup in the early spring, come on down.
sure.
So the more the merrier. So any other things that Eric or Carol that you can think of that we need to be able to cover?
Not at the moment.
Let me just tell them, come on back.
Yeah. So are there any kinds of projects that you think that we should really that we should be looking into? I mean, is there any area that that we should that looks like there's something that we could help in terms of the infrastructure? I know that just as a note that the Karis Lustig mentioned this at the select board meeting when she did a report on Tuesday, that they were able to renovate the Heights Common, and also all the sidewalks are brand new, all the pads for the benches are all brand new, and so on. And what is really wonderful is that they're taking, a lot of the benches that were originally on the town common before they started the renovations went to the Heights. And so they basically have taken on being able to, they took them into the shop. They are cleaning all the benches. They're respraying the frames to make them all look really pretty. And so when they come back onto the Heights Common, they'll all have a nice pad to be able to sit on and be all shined up and pretty. So yeah, so that's really great.
Good. Yeah.
Is there a transformer box that's unwrapped at that there at that location that we could potentially take advantage of?
Well, the ones it's sort of yes and no, because the ones that are directly in front of Starbucks
Are wrapped.
well, no, they're not wrapped.
I thought they were.
but they're slated for replacement.
Ah,
And so back when Tony Delgado was town engineer, that he was kind enough to make up a list. I said, Tony, can you give me a list of all the boxes that aren't going to be renovated in the not too distant future? And so basically, if there was a box that was going to be replaced because of the streetscape work in any of those areas, that he basically created a list that said, you don't want to wrap these boxes because in the next 3 to 5 years they're going to be gone. So, and the ones in front of Starbucks actually were on that list. Now everything happens slower than they expect, but but sometime in the not too distant future, those lights and those boxes are all going to be transformed into new materials. And there's also a light pole, a Cobra head pole that is still there that's supposed to be removed, I think um, by Eversource or because if you notice that they put in the new pedestrian style light poles, but the Cobra head pole, which was on the block where Starbucks is still there because it's slated for removal, but it hasn't happened yet.
ah,
And I think part of that is they also want to tie it into the fact that when they redo the boxes there, I believe they're going to try to redo the sidewalks on that side of the street too. So, and when they remove that pole, it's going to create a hole. So, you know, so I think that's sort of the way that's going. But it was an unexpected thing to be able to have the common completely renovated with all the new sidewalks and so on. They just ended up with a project that had to be put off for other reasons, and they had they had some budget money that they could use up for the project before the end of the year. That made it possible. Like, hey, we can do this, and it's within the scope of the project. Let's do it. So they were out there. Yeah. So that was great. So anything else, anything, Carol, you can think of that?
No, I think we're at the point where, uh, next meeting.
All right. So next meeting date. What do we want to look at as far as that goes?
um, 22 or 29 both work well for me.
Yeah,
I was going to say, yeah, I can do either one.
yeah,
The
I
the
can,
29th would push us um, further into the month, which would give us more time to get, updates on some of the projects and maybe even update on the benches. And
Let's do 29.
so,
yeah,
all right.
so February 29th.
Let's put that in. And so I think we've right, and 5 o'clock it is. So we've got it in there. And we're good. Anything else? You're all set? All right. Well, I think we've basically come to the
Ending
ending of the meeting, and we're doing it right on time.
5:49.
Yeah. Actually, a little bit early since we got through our agenda. And it was also wonderful to be able to have a visitor stop in
Yeah,
and check it out. And this is the second time this has happened. So
Yeah.
um, So I always wonder, say, what is it that's starting to create awareness that we exist, that people are by their own volition dropping in to be able to see what we're doing. So I think it's great.
it is.
So, and maybe it's your Facebook posts,
Maybe it could be, who knows?
you know, I mean, it's certainly a possibility. We'll keep hoping that continues the interest of people. So, all right. Well, then I would
All right.
make a motion to adjourn this meeting of the Revitalization Trust Fund for January of 2024. Do I have a second?
I do.
Second. All in favor?
Bye.
And it's a wrap.
Okay.
Thanks so much. JP, thank you
Thanks.
tremendously for all your support to do this.
No, not a problem. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thanks, JP.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Paul, I'll email you offline.
That sounds great.
All right, guys, take care.